They're now 10 weeks old, and they're basically a non-feeding clutch. So we're just running through trying to find out which ones are runners, which ones will strike, which ones won't strike. Once it's a runner, it's a runner. So you might as well go straight in.
If it runs,
assist feed.
Straight.
Yep. Effectively the way of doing it over water. Now I like doing over the top of water. No substrate basically. No vermiculite, but
welcome back guys to the Chondros channel. This is part 2 of the previous video that we went and saw Malcom from FiercewormsUK, saw his collection. Now we're going to see a new video and a part 2 and a continuation, showing you how to establish neonates, showing you some incubation tubs. This is going to be gold. So if you're into chondros, if you're into reptiles, if you want to breed chondros, this is something you need to watch. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, get locked in. Let's go. Right guys, so as you can see, I am making the tray to go into the egg box that will suspend over my incubation medium. So this is the egg crate that I brought in to Malcom, and Malcom is more a practical teacher, so he's got me doing it for the first time, so don't judge my skills. But we're going to be putting feet to suspend this over the incubation medium, which I'm currently glue gunning the feet onto, and then we'll clean up later. So he's left me to my devices, so let's see how I get on. Right, so we're going to make a egg suspension tray for the chondro eggs. So I've got one piece of egg crate that has been pre-cut to fit my tubs. We have got 5 pieces of PVC piping which has been cut down to be equal sizes to make sure that we are stable and even. Glue gun, extra bits of glue if needed, and let's get the feet on. So Malcom has left me to do this, so let's see how this is going to go. So start off with putting glue around the edge of the pipe itself, get the excess off, and then I'm going to stick right in the middle of this part so there is anchor points on all 4 edges. So once I've done that, I'm going to go put a dab there, run it up a little bit so it anchors. Dab there, run it up a little bit. Dab there, and then a final dab on that side. And then we're going to rinse and repeat that, and hopefully we should have 4 even feet to have a tray that will suspend our eggs over our medium that we choose to use. So let me do that and we'll see the finished product. Right, so all 5 feet are now stuck on and anchored at all points, and now should sit flat. We'll take all these extra glue pieces off to tidy this up. Now this table is quite bent, so it is off balance, but let's say we get our selected tub, which we've used pre-drilled, and we've selected this tub. This now will sit in there, allowing you to put your substrate underneath, which then will suspend your eggs over the medium that you've selected. Right guys, so here we've got our 2 egg boxes that we've made, that we put together. So side by side you can see how that would suspend your eggs over the medium that you choose to use. So these are the egg boxes that I am going to use to hopefully incubate chondros one day, hopefully this season. You know, we're going to try this end of this year, but just trying to prepare and have things ready. Luckily Malcom is close enough where he can come down in emergencies, but he's not close enough where I can just pop in and get help when needed. So what Malcom's done is we've pre-drilled some holes. So we've got these which will be covered up. The middle hole, the smaller hole, which is the same on the other side, will be during incubation from the beginning. But then having these here, we can cover them up and open them as needed. It's better to have holes where you can ventilate and not have anything and have to drill things in the middle of incubation. But these will be covered up. And then these are fully sealable tubs. They have the rubber seals, the lids will go on top, they'll lock, and then that will be used. So we have 2 of these, and then we're going to make a hatch box and also a medic box for any eggs that might seem to be, you know, dying or not looking great, so you can separate them if need be from the rest of the clutch that is in the incubation box. So that is those. Right, Mal, so obviously they've seen us putting these together. You know, you left me, threw me in the deep end, put the hot glue gun in my hand, and went go for it and learn to do it. Why have we done it? And talk to us about, you know, the suspension and over the medium, the holes. Why have we done it?
So it's another way of doing it. It's effectively the way of doing it over water. Now I like doing over the top of water. No substrate basically, no vermiculite. But the downside of that is the water does move around inside if you do have to move the tubs around. So I tend to use some vermiculite that is absolutely saturated, but I want them way off the floor. Okay. So the substrate will then come up halfway, which means that is all air underneath. Obviously egg crate.
So then you get good air
circulation around the entire egg. There's nothing in contact with the water and the substrate itself.
And how come we've done the, so, you know, people are going to look at this and think, why is there so many holes?
So they're sealed tubs. Now sealed tubs, that's what we want, but you still need a very fractional amount of air exchange. So I put 2 tiny little 2 mil holes. One each end. Which will stay open from day one? And that will stay open. Okay. I don't ever seal them off. But we have some bigger ones already drilled through. Each end. Now we can't put the drill holes in the top because you stack your tubs. So we've had to put them high up on the sides. So just so people know, I won't be stacking when I'm incubating. There'll be 2 boxes underneath when I incubate. Not saying that we're going to incubate, guys, but when I incubate. And then these will go in the middle. And then we'll be using 2 tubs on top, which won't be housing any eggs. Right. So these will be covered up. For the whole duration until supposedly the last week of incubation, week 7. When you sometimes need more air exchange because those eggs are starting to self-heat. And then obviously the temperature's going up in there. We can then now open up these holes, release some of that without having to take the lids off. And have to manually exchange air and not have to really go in there and interfere too much. And we're not affecting it because we've still got the small ones in the end. But basically it's a very simple thing to do. It's like the old sim containers. Fantastic. They were great, but they cost money. You can make that for a quarter of the price of what you buy one for. Let's be honest, right? I've bought that tub from IKEA for £6. I bought the egg crate for £8 for a pack of 10. And you gave me the pipe. It's a piece of pipe. That tub, that setup there, which I've got Malcom to help me and approve of because he's going to help me over the phone if and when the clutch ever arrives and if I ever breed. But that's cost me £10. Whereas a sim container, it's going to cost me 40. You know, we're going to match them. There's a lot more room in one of these. But the process and the forethought of this is exactly the same. You know, we'll just be over that.
Yeah.
2 tubs set up exactly the same.
Yeah. I want to say thank you for helping me out. Thank you for helping make them. Thank you for sticking a glue gun in my hand.
Yeah, that's what saved me, didn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah. So it's good. You've helped me out, and
Yeah.
thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're all right.
Right, guys. So we're back with Malc, and as we spoke and discussed earlier, even though Malc is out the chondro game at the moment, we're currently sitting in front of a rack of neonate chondros. So Malc, tell us a bit about what's going on.
So these are a friend's clutch. They're now 10 weeks old, and they're basically a non-feeding clutch.
Right.
It isn't. That can be from 2 reasons. For a start, it's his first clutch. Things have gone on a little bit long of not feeding, so we are at a little bit of a disadvantage of getting non-feeders to feed this late in the game, where I'm trying to change everything that's been done or needs to be done. So we're just running through, trying to find out which ones are runners, which ones will strike, which ones won't strike. And at the moment, I've got 3 that are now have fed a couple of times.
Right.
There's another couple that will strike. There's 1 or 2 one that will strike and then just hold on to it for a couple of seconds and then drop it. And then we got 5 that decide that they just want to run.
Okay.
They're a pain.
Okay. And I can see that you've got everything laid out in front of you. You've got your toolkit, your surgical kit in front of you. Can you tell us a bit about what you've got and what you've got it for? So we're going to try and do a number of different things in a relatively short space of time, just to see what reactions we get. Now, when we can work out what they're reacting to, then we can sort of say, right, I'm going to spend the time on that with that one, and each one will be different. So some will react to just plain pinkies, some will require chick fluff, some we may have to basically assist and get a pinky head into their mouths. Now, the first way I would like to try and do it is for them to bite it themselves. If that doesn't work, they will have food in them, because they're just going to deteriorate over any long, the time period. Yeah, of course.
As it goes on. If I can get them to do it, fantastic. If not, we'll go through, we'll put the pinky head in their mouths and we'll put them back. Then they will have learned and they will swallow it themselves. We're not force feeding them, we are what they class as assist feeding them, because we're just going to place it in their mouth. Okay. And there's a number of different things. I'm probably just going to blabber as I'm trying to work out and show you what's what. And what's each individual likes or dislikes.
I think this would be gold. It's for me, I know we're doing this as an exercise for me to learn for possible clutches I might have one day.
Some of these will work. So some of these will feed, may feed,
and some may not.
and this could go completely wrong. And it could just be another day that we've got to come back and do this all over again. Because we can't guarantee everything works.
Of course.
Every single one is different. So every method is different as to what they want. And
this is not something a lot of people show. People talk about it a lot. But don't show it. So this is gold, because this will help a lot of people, and also help new people to the hobby to actually see the difficulties of raising these. You know, it's not
easy.
Okay.
Some clutches will come out and they will just, every single one of them will
pump food.
They're amazing. On occasion, then you will get one or two in a clutch that don't. Sometimes it's a few more. You don't tend to normally have that many, but sometimes with an inexperienced person, if they're not trying to get these, picking up on the key things, the period of time that they're not feeding goes on and on and on. And then it's harder and harder and harder. Hence why I'm just sort of trying to help him out.
Of course.
All of these will feed. I'm 99% sure every single one of these will feed, and as soon as they switch on to food, they will absolutely keep going. They'll be as good as gold. Right, 3 of them, they're already done last night. Obviously 2 were normal pinkies. 1 was on a mouse leg. Well, actually it was a multi-leg that it liked rather than the mouse. So
we sat down, you've set up. Where would whoever's trying to start feeding, where do you start? So where we step 1, what do we do?
So I want everything as close to me as I possibly can. I don't want to be moving around the room. I've got a 5 litre rug full of hot water there, and it's the hottest tap water I can get. I have obviously all my neos in front of me. My pinkies are sat on the top. Just above that is a bag already set up with just chick fluff. Doesn't look most fantastic, but it's just
chick fluff.
Chick fluff, which is just fluff pulled off of a frozen chick. So that's there. It means I can go from the pinky, I can dry the pinky off a little bit, dab a small amount of chick fluff on its head, and then I can go. So that the more I don't have to move, the quicker this is. If one of those neos does take food and wraps it, I'm going to stay as still as possible. I don't want to distract it. I don't want it to go, what's that?
And start it.
It will drop it. And then you've got to start all over again. And it's a lot harder. But it does sometimes mean that we're going to be sat in the same place for 20 minutes. So be comfortable.
And if it does, we will be stopping.
We'll just stop.
We'll have to restart the video on the next one.
Once it's got it in its mouth. And got it down 2/3, we can restart it.
Cool.
Right, I've got 3 sat in a tub at the moment that are just warming up. They're slightly on the larger side. I try and grade my pinkies because obviously the smaller ones are great if you ever have to force feed. Now there's a difference between assist feeding and force feeding. I don't like doing either, to be honest. I'd rather find the way of getting them to do it, but sometimes it does require it. So we're doing daytime. I've only been doing nighttime trials with these. So it'll come out of the hot water. I literally just dry it off. Pick these up. I'm going to take the middle one. Can you see the middle one better than anything else? Yeah. So all I'm going to do now is just sit there and just try and wake him up, or she. See what reaction we get. Now this is normally, now we're tongue flicking already. Now that's a good sign. It means A, I'm interested. That's not so good. It's pulling its head back. So the pinkies tend to cool down quite quickly as soon as they're out of water. The initial reaction to that plain pinky was quite, I don't like it. I'm going to move on. So what I just want to do now is just put a little bit of chick fluff over the top. Just dab it on so they don't get a complete mouthful. Now this is an excessive amount. But I just want to gauge now whether that smell
will trigger a feeding response.
So I'm just going to see if you're Now we're getting a lot more
interest.
tongue flicking.
Yeah.
Now we're not running, so it's tolerating what we're doing, but at the same time it doesn't want to get defensive yet. The reason that they'll get defensive, it doesn't like going underneath its head.
Right.
So we'll avoid that. What we will do is, where they would normally call to lure, we'll go to the tail. Now all it's doing is removing its tail from where I am. So drop that pinky, because that will have been getting too cold. We'll start again. We'll get the next one. We'll go for a little bit more chick fluff on the top of the head. Just dab that on. Bearing in mind they like heat. So I'm just going to go underneath and see if I can get him to come out. I'm just imitating a little bit of a little rodent coming in and so we're not, we might get a little bit of anger out of him in a minute. I'm not battering him, I'm just trying to annoy him, basically, to the point. Doesn't like it. Now either it's a case of he doesn't like pinkies.
Right.
We could try Maltese. They are slightly bigger, and they do have
some fur on them.
So I'm going to go, I want to take a, if I can get him to strike.
Yep.
Then I'll class that as a positive.
Okay.
I'm not going to come out of here on a negative. So if I have to get a little bit more aggressive,
yep,
then we will. So we'll give him we'll have to give him a break in a minute.
But at least we're not running.
No. Another little trick you can do is, now we've got a strike.
There we go, yes.
Brilliant. Did we get a strike at the pinky, or was that just a defensive strike in midair? I would like one at the pinky.
Yep. There we go.
Okay, right. This is where we are not going to move.
Yes. Right, guys. As you can see, that was a successful feeding trial for this neonate. And what we'll do is we'll stop the video there and we'll return if and when this little one has swallowed the prey item
that we ran.
Right, Malc, so we're back in the room. How did that one go?
Shit.
So then,
I'd say that.
So initially it was, would you
yeah,
say it went
all
well?
good.
Yeah.
And then what will we sat there 10 minutes?
10-15 minutes, yeah.
So normally after about 3 or 4 minutes, you'll start seeing them starting to swallow the pinky. This one didn't. It just sat, didn't move, just had its mouth
Just
around
coiled,
it,
yeah.
and it froze.
Yeah.
In the end, it just loosens its coils. It let go,
And dropped.
sniffed around, and just dropped it.
Yeah.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, that is a really, although it didn't go to plan, it's a very
win.
positive thing.
Yeah.
Because we've struck, we've coiled. All right, we didn't get the next step.
Yeah.
But it knows what to do.
And is that the first time that one?
That's the first time it's ever done it.
Okay. Well,
so
it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, from a completely unresponsive Neo for the last couple of weeks, we're moving forward. I'm going to give him a rest, give him a break, let him settle down, get back onto his perch.
Then go to the next one.
And then I'll try some of the others, and I'll probably come back to that one later.
Right. So going forward now, we're going to rinse and repeat what we've just done. And then if we have any difficulties, then we'll try a different next step.
We'll do a different method then. But at least you can see
the initial
how to get them going.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to sit and do that on every single one, because it's just going to be, it could be hours of the same thing day in, day out.
Of course.
Obviously, we've been sat there for so long now, the pinkies that I've had in the water, I'll just discard them because they just end up getting too cooked.
Yeah.
So, but hence why we don't put all of them in the same at the same time.
Because that could happen and then they're all wasted.
Try and get 2 different sizes in at the same time, a small one.
Yep.
And a much larger one. You see them?
Yep.
Difference in the 2.
Yep.
Some of them like the bigger ones, some like the smaller ones. As long as that water's still hot, which it still is, we'll just let that warm up and we'll start again in a minute.
Fantastic.
That lump in there.
So Malc, we've been here for a few hours now, going from baby to baby deep, trying different techniques. And would you say this was a successful attempt on this one?
This is first feed.
This is the first feed.
It's just managing to swallow it.
And this had,
Down in there.
and this baby had a whole pinky with chip fluff.
Yep.
That's his first feed. Now, if we've already done an attempt and you've shown me how to do pinky heads, which we might do another one if we need to in a minute.
Yep.
But so far they've been going quite well. A lot more reaction than previous, would you say?
Yeah, we've had a really, really good night on this. Well, good afternoon.
Yeah.
There's a lot more reaction from them today than what I've been getting for the last few weeks.
And like I said, I've been learning a lot because Malcolm's been teaching me techniques of different ways of temp feeding, where to touch and tap the coils. Different.
That one.
And this has been a successful one. You showed me some, like a blow-in technique.
Wrong,
It does sound wrong, yeah. Covering it up with your hand technique. Different ways to, entice feeding. What we'll do is we'll go on to a couple next ones, and if they do need a pinky head, we'll record maybe doing one of those as well, if we can show people. Appreciate it.
All right.
I want to say thank you for having me at your house.
You're welcome.
Again.
Anytime.
Thank you for letting us see your collection. Thank you for showing us how to feed Neos.
I'll ponder.
You'll be seeing his face again
sometime.
That's it.